welcome to this section of the course. In this video, we'll be looking at binomial expansion and we'll learn how to do it quickly and rapidly. Alright, let's say you have a plus b to the power of 7. What does that imply? That means you have 7 lots of these brackets to multiply with each other. So you don't want to waste time doing all those calculations and finally making one small error will make everything go wrong. So we're going to look at a quick way of answering those questions. In this question, we've been asked to figure out what's the coefficient of the term containing a power of 4 times b to the power of 4. Of course, the powers have to add up to 8 because we will have expansion of a plus b to the power 8. So what do we do? What do we do? Well, we can use your calculator and find this button here. It's on the most calculators is the this button when you have n choose r. This is above the division sign. So press shift on your calculator, and if you find the division sign, most basic class calculators have n choose r there. So you do have to put a number before C and a number after C. If C appears on the top, then press the back button to go behind it. And we're going to choose this, the power of n is this number on the bracket, so n is 8. You type 8 here, and then after you press the forward button to jump after C, and after C you're gonna take either of these 4s. When you put 4 there, that would give you 70, I believe. Alright, so that's how you're going to use it from now on to evaluate certain answers for your working out. Okay, 70 times those terms will be one of the terms. You will have a plus sign before it and after it. So let's look at this question here. This is actually the formula that you can find in your formula booklet as well. So don't panic. What you notice is that you have them in algebraic terms. So n, the next term has one less power, and so on and so forth. It shouldn't be a surprise for you. You should have seen this. You have seen this many times in the previous exercises. So these are the powers of A, and these are the powers of B. Notice the first term doesn't have any B's in it because you could think of it as B to the power 0 there, and the last term doesn't have A's in it, okay? So every other term, you can see this notation, and this kind of looks like a vector. It's not a vector, right? It's a binomial coefficient. And finally, let's use it. These are the binomial coefficients. And I said you see this in your formula booklet. It looks something like so, where n is a natural number. Okay? Natural numbers are just counting numbers. 1, 2, 3, and so on. Alright, so let's use this to figure out some answers to some problems. Here, you've been asked to use the binomial theorem to expand this bracket. So what we're going to do is say you can write, usually it might be helpful to write it in a column so you see which powers you've used and which powers you haven't used. First term will be 5 to the power 5 choose 0. Don't forget the coefficient there. It will be 1, but sometimes I leave out the first term and then I get the next, well, you might get the next term wrong if you don't write it. So this 3, we're going to raise it to the power of 5, and that means the minus 2x will be to the power 0. That's a 1, and this is a 1. All right, you first just write them like so. Then you evaluate it with the calculator. Now 5 choose 1 is a 5, and write the next few terms for yourself. Notice 5 and power of 5, power of 0, power of 4, power of 1, power of 3, power of 2. These powers, we're writing them under each other, so you notice they're going down, and the powers of minus 2x are going up. Okay, so you stop where you get to 5 choose 5 here. So if it's rare for you to be asked to write all of these terms out, but we just writing them so you understand the pattern here. Okay, so where these numbers come from is here. I'm just evaluating the powers. The minus 2 here multiplies by these other two numbers. This minus 2 turns into plus 4. That's why you start seeing alternating signs here. Minus, plus, minus, plus, minus. Because these powers are going up by 1 at a time. When the power is odd, the term negative remains negative. And when the power is odd here, when the powers are even, it turns it positive. That's why you see alternating signs there. So finally, you would write it in a line like so. Okay. Notice it starts with no x's and the x powers go up by 1 at a time. So let's look at this next question here. For, for just we've been asked to write the first four terms of this expansion here. So that means take x to the power of 0 to start with. We'll have just 1 to the power of 10, and then 1 to the power 9 times 2x, and you're going to put the coefficient of 10, choose 1 at the front, in front of that next term here, and so on up to 10, choose 3. Now, these are the first four terms, believe it or not. That's it. You don't have to write the rest of them. 1 to any power is still 1. All of these cancel away to 1. This is a 1, and this is a 10, and 10 times 9 divided by 2 is 45. I can do that in my head without a calculator. So you will get these answers here. Finally, you just have to take care of multiplying the coefficients correctly, and you end up with these expressions here. Notice by four terms, they mean terms are separated by a plus sign, okay? So you do need to have terms, four terms. Alright, so the next question here, and the last question, is saying find the first four terms of this expansion here. Notice the x again has a coefficient of minus a half in front of it. So every time you're raising x to some power, you're gonna make sure you raise the power of the half to that power. So I didn't write it as a column here, just writing it in one line. The first term hasn't got, it's got x to the power 0 there, so we leaving out the half here. Anything to the power 0 is still 1. Now you need to be careful with the, you evaluate this one line at a time. That's a 6, that's 10 to the power 5 is 100,000 and so on. So you write them one term at a time. Alright, 1 million first, minus 6 times 100,000, x over 2. Alright, don't forget this a fraction needs to be raised to the power as well, and so on and so forth. So we were asked to find the first four terms. So that last term, it will appear when I press here. So 6 choose 20, 6 choose 3 is a 20. That minus sign is coming from this half cube. The negative half cubed is still minus 1 over 8, and so on. Here, this should be just 1,000, because 10 to raised to the power 3 is 1,000. I'll correct that in a minute. But the final answer is correct. 20 times 1,000 divided by 8 is 200 with a minus sign. Okay, so this is it. You can practice exercise 8C, and I'll see you in the next video.